Okay, so I know I'm supposed to be, like, filming a review right now, but honestly, you guys, watching me put my eyebrows on is a lot more interesting than this book ever could be, possibly hope to be. Like, seriously. Watching me put on eyebrows is so much better than this stupid book. I kind of can't believe I finished reading this piece of shit, with, you know, how many books I've not finished reading recently. Um, but yeah, today I'm going to be talking about, or at least I wish I wasn't going to be talking about, I have to talk about Fate by Scarlett Haven. Um, it was a free book I found on Amazon, and as is the general way I do things with free books on Amazon, I did not look at any of the reviews, I didn't look at the description, I just picked it up. And, well, now I finally read it. I actually only got this one recently, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. But, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't. And I also kind of wish that for once I would have read the description, because this would have really honestly almost been suited for a Spiritual Sunday, which is a new feature that is so much more interesting than this goddamn book. But now I have eyebrows on, at least. Yeah, this book took me 2 days to read. It would have taken me less than that, because it was honestly only like a 30-minute read, maybe an hour total. But, it would have taken me less time, but I started reading it in the middle of the night, and I got really damn sick of the typos. And, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes with me. I get sick and tired of the damn typos after a very short amount of time. And honestly, like, I know I'm not doing anything to honestly look at the frickin' camera or, you know, put any effort into this review, but that's all the effort this fucking review deserves. That's all the effort that this stupid-ass book deserves. And then my frickin' finger changes it. Like, this book is shit. Okay, honestly, this was the case of I had to make sure that, you know, make sure that this wasn't, like, an ESL person, like, you know, English as a second language, because it is written just so poorly. It's written in a lot of spots in that way, kind of like how Family Guy describes it, with those two, vaguely Eastern European dudes that they have on Family Guy every once in a while, or used to have, or whatever. I haven't watched Family Guy in years, but I remember this shit. They had, like, a pair of really tan, like, blonde dudes that almost had the hang of English slang and, you know, almost knew what the hell they were saying. But, you know, that's kind of how this book reads at parts. See, I'm not even gonna fucking edit this. Like, I'm just gonna do this all in one go. Because this thing does not deserve any fucking effort. Like, the fact that I could put my eyebrows on while talking about this shit. Like, that, I'm not even gonna fucking touch on the rest of this. Like, I'm not gonna edit out my rants or my ums or ands or whatever. But fucking seriously, like, I had to actually research and, like, try to make sure that this wasn't some ESL person that I was about to rip into. Because there are so fucking many typos, and there are just, there's certain ways that, certain phrases and sentences and things in this are written that really kind of pointed to potentially English isn't their first language, but my minimal research pointed to them living in Missouri, and, like, their Twitter and whatever doesn't appear to be written in the same way as this book, which makes me think that they were going for, like, that stereotypical, like, quote-unquote English, I guess. I know there's got to be a more PC or whatever way to say that, but when have I ever said I would actually be PC? But basically, Fate is about this random bitch from Russia who is an extreme Mary Sue. Like, I'm not one who actually subscribes to the idea of characters being Mary Sues. I don't really deal with that shit. I don't, a lot of it is just an answer to, like, the male power fantasy, Female power fantasy shouldn't be considered Mary Sue, but no. Katarina, or whatever, is literally the most Mary Sue I've ever fucking seen. Like, even that goddamn bitch in My Immortal is less Mary Sue. Like, holy fucking tits, guys. Bella Swan is less of a Mary Sue. I'm just gonna let you, let that sink in. Bella Swan is less of a Mary Sue than the main character of this shit. Okay, this was seriously a book that I contemplated not finishing. But because I didn't finish the last 2 books that I've reviewed for this channel, I decided I was going to take one for the team and actually finish this shit. Especially since it's actually a fucking self-published book, as far as I can tell. And that's what this channel was originally made for, is bad self-published books. Well, holy hell, guys, I found one. Okay, so, seriously, I take notes on every book that I'm reading. As I'm reading for the channel. If it's something I'm not going to be reviewing, I don't take notes. But, okay, by comparison, this is all the notes I took for In Real Life. This is 1 page of what I wrote for Fate. I seriously wrote that page, 2 full pages, 2 more full pages, 2 more full pages, and another fucking half page. Seriously. If that doesn't tell you something, holy hell. I know that a lot of the complaints in my notes for Fate were typos. I wrote down typos every time I read a typo. And I didn't expect it to pile up, but there's at least 50 instances in my notes of typos. At least 50 instances in my fucking notes. At least half of those are typos that a spell checker, any spell checker, would have picked up. Literally any spell checker would have fucking picked up those typos and, kicked back and said, hey, yo, author lady, mind fixing me before you publish me, maybe? And, okay, I know someone might chime in and try to white knight with, oh, but, book bitch, it was her first book. It's her debut piece. That doesn't excuse it. If anything, that means that this shit should have been even more well taken care of. By comparison, let's take story time, okay, guys? I know of an author who was writing all her life, wrote a really, really contrived but kind of hilarious novel as a first grader, and got in trouble for it in class from her teacher because she was working on it after she finished her homework for the day. And then, kept writing. Didn't write quite as much after that, but kept writing. And eventually, in May of 2011, decided, hey, I think I might finally be ready to start unleashing my works onto the world. And so that's what she did. For 2 weeks, she hid herself away from the world, and she wrote, and she wrote, and she wrote on an old story idea. And eventually she published it. About, I want to say 2 weeks after starting to write it. And admittedly, it is not the author's best work. However, as a debut book, it also seriously has... In comparison, okay, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. Spoiler alert, the author is me. The book in question is my book, Paper Dolls, which is the first book in my sketchbook series. And in comparison, there's at least 50 typos in fucking Fate. In mine, there's one. One fucking typo that made it through the goddamn cracks. One. And it still hasn't been fixed because I just made it into a vodka brand. But you can't do that with the typos that are in this fucking piece of shit. Like, okay, I have not raged so hard reading a book. Like, I swear to flying fuck, this season is trying to wreck me. Like, first fucking season of the book, bitch, I've had The Vampire from Hell. I've had fucking stupid teenagers out the ass. I've had Hit. I've had 2 YouTuber books. And then I've had this shit. I swear to flying fuck, this season is trying to give me a stroke. I hated this book. I hated this book. Like, I really tried. I tried so hard to find anything good about this book to write in my notes. And, like, okay, I'm just gonna read you some of my notes, because I know I kind of flashed them at the screen, but white balance and whatnot. Let's see here. Oh, goody! This is an episode of a book series. Look how invested I already am. Oh, good! It's first person present tense! Yes. The American City skyline. Gotta love a good old American City. At least we're using the Oxford comma. Like, okay, for all the faults that Miss Haven had, the Oxford comma at least was used and used correctly. So, props for that. But, oh, she arrives at this school, which is, like, spoiler, like, the school she's going to is for, like, really, really rich kids, and she's supposedly not a rich kid. Spoiler alert, she's fucking rich as fucking shit. Because of course she is, because she's a fucking Mary Sue. Let's see here. Did I find another iteration of Team Tesh? Okay, to everybody. It's hover over. Hover over. Not hover. You don't say someone hovered the other person. You hover over someone. I am not hovering this notebook. I am hovering over this notebook. Well, technically I'm holding this notebook. I guess I'm hovering over my laptop, which is right here. You don't hover someone or something. You hover over them. Even when you're standing or sitting, you hover over them. That is English. It sucks, but learn it. If you're speaking it, fucking learn it. Is this entire thing going to be about hating accents? Oh yes, let's make fun of the fucking person from another land who apparently speaks really, really good English but has a really thick accent. Yes, wow, let us proceed to point and laugh at them. Ha ha ha, you speak funny. And then another, I swear, this is going to be the stupid longest fucking video. Fucking, they were talking about people having children well into, like, their 50s, and I have to grab my phone, so bear with me, guys. But fucking, they were talking about women having children, like, into their 30s and 40s, and I don't remember which one of them, or which side of this, was like, well, usually by that point you run out of eggs, don't you? And the other one was like, yeah, that's like simple biology. By like 35, you've run out of eggs and you can't get pregnant as easy. And I'm just like, what fucking, what? 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 I know sex ed in America is fucked up. Like, I know this. Like, I've seen enough fucking evidence that apparently sex ed in America is just completely fucked up, and apparently the reasonably good sex ed I had access to when I was going through school wasn't what everyone else had available. And apparently in Missouri, they're teaching people that you fucking run out of eggs when you fucking, you know, get into your 30s and 40s and 50s and you hit menopause. No. You're born with something like, I don't remember what the fuck it is, it's like 10 or 20,000 eggs. Even if you had your period once a fucking month, every month, from age 5 to like age 60, you're not gonna fucking hit that. Even if you're double expressing every month, you're not gonna fucking run out of eggs. How the dick? What the... How can you be that stupid? Was this written by a 12-year-old? Like, that's one thing I couldn't find anything on, was fucking age. I'm assuming that this person is, like, at least in their 20s or 30s. Because most people who write young adult shit are. But fucking hell, how do you make it that far in life and be that dumb when YouTube is a thing? I mean, shit. I don't agree with everything that Lacey Green says, but Lacey Green is a thing. Dr. Doe is a thing. Fucking Google is a thing. Teenagers aren't that fucking stupid. Unless they've been actively taught that way. Is she implying that this high school that's for, like, all the really super, like, stupid important people in the country, like, all the, like, really hyper rich kids, like the president's kid, and, like, you know, the fucking kids that require bodyguards in order to fucking sneeze? Is she implying that these kids are being given education that is that goddamn subpar? Like, I wouldn't put it past America to fucking do that, but Jesus shitting Christ. How fucking stupid does she think teenagers are? Goddamn, I know I've ripped into teenagers a lot, because teenagers are goddamn dumb. But holy fucking hell, this is on some new fucking level shit. Good God, please learn biology if you're gonna fucking reference that kind of shit in your books. Research is a thing. I'm not a big fan of it, but that's why I generally tend to write what I know. If that's not what you know and you don't want to research, then don't fucking write it. Or at least call it fantasy. Because on what fucking planet does a human woman run out of eggs by age 35? How fucking dumb do you have to be? Holy fucking shit. You guys. It's just, I can't, okay, it just... So, like, about, I want to say, almost halfway through the book, you finally, you know, get this moment where she starts talking about the Bible and shit. And, I don't know how many of you, probably none of you, watch, Say Goodnight Kevin. I'll try to link him down in the description, because he's a lot more interesting than this goddamn book was. But, Say Goodnight Kevin is another YouTuber. He does... I'm not entirely sure what other types of videos he really does, but I know he does, Christian movie reviews. And, that's actually most of what I've watched, because I don't know if you've realized it through what I actually share, but I'm kind of a Christianophile. I don't even know if there's actually a word for that, but, like, I really enjoy, like, reading about, like, Christianity and, like, learning about fundy Christians, because it's just a lot of fun, and it's just neat, and it's, like, shit that I can't conceive of being that closed-minded, but it's so much fun to fucking, you know, watch videos about, or, you know, read about, and, you know, we got about to this point in the video, or the book, and she starts talking about how she believes in the Bible and how her brother, one of her brothers, had just died. But you know, because she believes in the Bible, she knows that she will meet him again on the day of judgment. And it, like, reads even more goddamn robotic than the rest of the book. But at that point, like, when she starts talking about that, I just got this, it's Christian thing from fucking Say Goodnight Kevin, because I just watched his God's Not Dead 2 review, I think last night actually, but I had just watched another of his reviews recently, and he does this little, like, techno dance, like, cutaway thing he does when they mention Christianity or whatever in these Christian movies, where it's just like, it's Christian! And the lights are, like, flashing and shit, and that went off in my head when that happened, and I was like, okay, I should have fucking guessed that this was coming. But, surprisingly, aside from my note, right after that, which, seriously, Say Goodnight Kevin's voice, it's Christian, was, oh good, it's gonna get preachy. Surprisingly, not so much. It really didn't. There was just more typos, and more typos, and then an assload of exposition, and then a whole lot of nothing happened. She clings to the Bible because it's a promise she'll see her dead brother again. Okay, we all need something nice to believe when we lose a loved one. But, but then, you know, this was about the point where I started realizing just what a Mary Sue she was. Like, through the beginning, you know, I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, you know, teenage character, wine, me, wine, me, you know, but it was about this point that she really started showing her Mary Sue, like, oh, you see, I'm not that great at this, but look, I'm so good at this, look, oh my god, I'm not even, like, trying, I didn't think I was going to be this good at this, what? Like, there's a lot of moments of, like, that kind of shit. Yeah. She proves herself to be really fucking stupid, and her backstory gets really fucking stupid. If I cared more, I would actually give you a synopsis, but really, there's just typos, so fucking many typos. They end up going to church once, more typos, because all 20-somethings are fucking attractive. She gets a bodyguard that has been posing as a senior at her high school. This bodyguard who speaks Russian, but, you know, that's not a weird red flag. You know, he knows weird little things about her, but that's not a weird red flag. He gets her alone and tells her all these secrets about her family. That's not a weird red flag. But, you know, she just automatically believes this fucker because teenagers are dumb. I'm gonna go with teenagers are dumb, guys. But she immediately starts, you know, just, oh my god, quit asking me questions about my relationship with my family. And then 5 minutes later, okay, so this is how I am with my brothers, and this is how I was with my brother that's dead, and this is how I am with my family. And it's just like, holy fucking shit, can you pick one side and stick with it? Generally, characters kind of pick one side and stick with it unless they're given a compelling reason to change that side. She wasn't given a compelling reason. She just starts spouting this shit off. You guys, this is an actual book that you can fucking actually pay money for. Like, it's actually, as far as I'm aware, it's been available for, like, 99 cents per, you know, download or whatever on Kindle before I found it on free for Kindle or whatever. This is an actual book. This is the beginning of a series, you guys. This is the beginning of a series that I'm, thankfully, not making into a theme month, because I'm not going to waste that much money on an indie series that's this terrible. Like, okay, When a book gets me so bored, wanting any kind of plot to actually, like, throw itself at me, no matter how contrived, how fucking, you know, cliche, that my brain just starts going, I'm reviewing, like, as background noise to entertain me. You're doing... Fuck this book, okay? Fuck any piece of media that gets me that bored. I am so glad that I'm done with this book. Maybe at some point I'll revisit this author to see if they've gotten any better. But pro tip, for all you fucking authors out there, everyone who's dreaming of being, you know, an author and selling all sorts of books and being a bestseller and, you know, being the next Amanda Hawking or John Locke or whoever the hell else is doing the indie thing and actually succeeding these days. If you're wanting to do that, fucking proofread your book. Your debut book cannot be so riddled in typos that reading it and counting typos fucking will fill up at least 2.5 pages of your fucking notes when you're reading this piece of shit. It should not be that goddamn many typos. You shouldn't have upwards of 50 typos in a 100-page book. You shouldn't. No real publisher will let you have that goddamn many typos in a legit published book. None of them. They have editors for this. They have proofreaders for this. This is why fanfic authors generally use betas. This is why people encourage people that are writers to be like, yo, friends, family, mother, father, sisters, best friend, boyfriend, fiance, whatever, cat, random stray dog I saw on the street, you know, librarian. Anybody you can trust to not have, like, an absolute shit grasp on English, you should be handing that fucking book off to before you even think about publishing it. You need to have someone else read that shit. If you can't proofread it yourself and get it down to, like, 1 typo or no typos, you know, ideally somewhere between 0 and 5 is okay in a reasonably length thing. But for fuck's sake, if you can't get it down to that number on your own, fucking find a beta. If you can't find a beta, I'm sorry, but you're gonna probably have to shell out for a professional editor. But do it. Like, it's not gonna get you any better money to, you know, release a subpar piece of shit. The more typos you have in a piece of, like, fiction like this, the less chance someone like me, who, you know, actually buys a fuckload of books, is gonna actually take a second chance on you. You're completely shooting yourself in the foot by not paying attention to how you're writing. You're completely shooting yourself in the foot by not catching these typos. Like, I understand not all of them would be caught by a fucking, spell check. I understand this. That's why you have eyes. That's why you read it yourself. That's why most computers have a speech function where you can just, like, highlight some text and have a voice read it back to you. That's actually a good way to do it. You'll catch a lot more fucking typos that way. Or if you read it back to yourself in an accent that isn't your own. You'll be listening to yourself and you'll go, oh, hey, fuck, shit, I completely missed a word there. That's a good, or it's a good reason, or, you know, good thing I was proofreading this. Good reason for me to be editing. You know, this video is a good, like, example of why editing's a good thing. Because I am stumbling over my words. And I did not script any of this. Because this fucking book did not deserve any effort. This book didn't deserve an almost 30-minute video either. Actually, it's probably going to be, like, 30 or 32 minutes, but whatever. This book doesn't deserve this much effort. Not from me. This book deserved this much effort or more. It deserved at least proofreading from its fucking author. The fact that it didn't get the proofreading it deserved proves that this author is in it for the money. Prove me wrong, Scarlett Haven. But from what I'm seeing, from where I'm sitting, And from what I read, you're in it for the money. And that's honestly, like, that's your own prerogative. Every author has, like, their own reason for why they're doing it. But generally, the better reason is because you want to bring a story to the public, and not because you want a quick buck. I'm really, really getting sick of seeing authors shoot themselves in the foot, you guys. I'm really getting goddamn sick of it. Okay, next week we've got Blue Waters by India R. Adams. I'm hoping that this one will be better. I'll see you guys.